and Lawrence in the intersection, shots fired.
Officers called for backup when shots were fired around 9:30 Thursday morning at 3rd and Lawrence. Topeka Police say officers were investigating a gunshots call near Ripley Park when they approached a man walking in the area.
While investigating the individual, officers saw a handgun on their person. In the process of trying to secure the firearm, the individual struggled with officers and attempted to flee.
Police say as the man ran, he started to reach into the pocket where officers believed the firearm was, and the officers fired their weapons. Videos from a person who lives in the area shows officers giving emergency aid to the man. He was taken to a local hospital where he later died. According to family, that man was 30-year-old Dominique White. They sent 13 News this photo of him with the request we not use his booking photo. He was paroled in May on convictions of burglary and criminal possession of a weapon.
The individual's gun was recovered from the scene. All individuals involved in this incident have been identified, and the public at large is in no danger.
Dozens of neighbors watched authorities at the scene. They say they are concerned.
I'm scared to even be out here. I am 67 years old, and I don't like it out here, and I'm sure it's a lot more that don't like it, but they can't afford nothing else.
The Lawrence Police Department is currently investigating the officer-involved shooting in Topeka. Shawnee County District Attorney Mike Kage says requesting assistance from an outside agency is step one.
And that's very important because you don't want to have the appearance that there's any conflict of interest or the appearance of any impropriety. Everything has to be very above board and transparent.
Kage said his office first requested the Kansas Bureau of Investigation handle the investigation, but was told KBI had a full investigative agenda, so the Topeka Police Department asked the Lawrence Police Department. Kage told us TPD immediately notified him of the Thursday shooting, and he went down to the Law Enforcement Center where he saw video of the shooting from 2 officers' body cameras. Kage says he examined that video immediately after the incident.
And I have that video now, and so we're beginning the process of reviewing the investigation and assisting Lawrence PD as they go through and collect evidence.
Although there is body camera video of the shooting, Kage says it's not protocol to release evidence to the public before the investigation is completed.
I think it's important to follow established rules. I mean, why should we treat this criminal investigation any differently than any other?
With social media taking this age by storm, it's not uncommon for a large amount of information to spread, and in many cases, it's rumor and false information. Kage says even if releasing body camera video would put some rumors to rest, he believes it's best to go by the book.
I would just urge patience for everybody involved, for them to wait for this process to play out the way it's supposed to. We are going to follow procedures. We are going to follow all the correct protocols and do this the right way.
When the Lawrence Police Department completes its investigation, Kage says he will sit down with members of his staff and make a determination as to whether or not the 2 officers acted within the law. Reagan Porter, 13 News.
Calling on the police department anticipated new police chief to develop an independent citizen review process. Amen. That is equitable and transparent.
Over 100 people gathered at Ripley Park on Saturday in response to the deadly police shooting on Thursday that killed 30-year-old Dominique White. Officers say they shot and killed White after he allegedly struggled with police, ran, and attempted to reach into a pocket where police believed he may have had a gun.
We heard State Representatives Alcala, as well as Hensley, Mayor Wolgass, all of the city council members, and other elected officials to put pressure on Interim Police Chief Kramer and TPD to release the evidence to the community and family.
As of right now, the family wants one thing: answers.
Absolutely no one from law enforcement other than the initial meeting to say they was taking over the investigation has came and given us any update whatsoever.
Shawnee County District Attorney Mike Kage told 13 News that he has seen the body cam video from both officers. He said he understands the public's request for the footage, but asked for patience while the investigation is ongoing. Meanwhile, family and friends of White also gathered in peace, saying that he should not only be remembered for Thursday's shooting.
He was a father, that he was a son, that he was, significant other. He was a cousin, he was a nephew.
Dominique's death at the hands of those sworn to protect and serve the community where he lived is heartbreaking enough, let alone not having the answers on who and why this had happened.
The family of Dominique White gathered at his mother's home, not to protest the shooting of Dominique, but to voice their concerns. City officials have not been communicating with them about the investigation like they said they would.
No liaison has been assigned to our family by the city or any other authorities. Topeka Police Department hasn't had 3 meetings with us. Only 1 meeting has occurred, and they were seeking answers. They weren't ready to give any. They couldn't give any.
State Representative John Alcala sent a letter to Interim City Manager Doug Gerber urging city leaders to address the family's request for information. Gerber met with the family shortly after the shooting. In a statement, Gerber says, quote, TPD has provided a liaison to the family for their questions and concerns. This individual continues to communicate with the family to the best of my understanding, end quote.
They continue to talk about transparency and how they want to help and they want to bridge this gap and everything, and it doesn't seem to be happening.
We took the family's concerns to District Attorney Mike Kage. Kage told us he has opened a dialogue with the White family attorney.
I cannot simply call the victim's family and give them some information or share anything with them. I have to go through their attorney. Again, that's Kansas law.
There's so many different reports of what happened and how it happened. We need answers, and the only way that we're going to get those answers is by seeing that information.
The family told us they want to see body camera video from officers at the scene, but DA Kage told us Kansas law prohibits the release of the video until an investigation of the incident is complete.
I don't want to seem insensitive to their needs, but I have to do the right thing, and the right thing is to follow procedure to protect the integrity of the investigation. And ultimately, if there is a criminal prosecution in this matter, I absolutely can't be sharing evidence until it's publicly disclosed. Kansas law is very clear on this.
And until they know if the shooting was justified, the family says they cannot know if justice has been served.
We, the family, we want to know if he had done something wrong, then show us so that we can put this behind us.
We want them held accountable if they were in the wrong.
A rally is just getting underway at the Law Enforcement Ctr in Topeka. The family of Dominique White wants answers as to what led to his September 28th shooting death by 2 Topeka police officers. 13 Sean Wheat is live at the Law Enforcement Ctr. And Sean, the family is saying they plan a peaceful protest.
Well, Melissa, the White family has definitely been asking for answers from both the Topeka Police Department and the Lawrence Police Department, which is investigating the deadly shooting that happened near Ripley Park. Now, the protest, I'll get out of the way here, is just now getting underway. Lawrence Police told 13 News today, quote, there are a few things that investigators are finishing up with before sending it over to the Shawnee County District Attorney's Office. Now, the protest is similar to what has been seen at sporting events across the nation. According to the family, it's a peaceful protest, and it will include taking a knee for Dominic. Now, it's just now getting started. Some folks are starting to speak now. Now, when the family spoke to 13 News in October, they asked to watch the body cam and dash cam videos from that morning for closure. Officers say White struggled with police, ran, and then attempted to reach into his pocket where police believe he may have had a gun, and they opened fire. Initial reports were that a gun was recovered at the scene. Initial information given to 13 News indicate White was shot in the chest, and officers tried to give him medical aid before he was taken to a local hospital and pronounced dead. Now, Shawnee County District Attorney Mike Kage says his office has been in constant contact with the Lawrence Police Department. It is procedure, according to him, for his office to then review those findings and make a determination on whether or not to press criminal charges. Of course, we're going to be out here for this protest, and we'll have further details as they're available, and we're actually streaming it live on Facebook. Go to WIBW Sean Wheat for those details. Melissa?
All right, Sean, thanks for the update. Appreciate that. They say the body camera footage not being released because it is an ongoing investigation. Topeka's interim police chief says he's as anxious as anyone for an investigation into the shooting death of a man by fellow officers to be complete. Dominique White was killed September 28th, and his family has questioned delays in getting information. 13 Sean Wheat sat down for an exclusive interview with the chief to see where the investigation is at. Sean?
Well, Chief Cochran says they want to be transparent as much as they can, but just like anyone else, they are duty-bound to follow the law. Interim Topeka Police Chief Bill Cochran says Lawrence Police are nearly finished with their investigation into the death of Dominique White.
They were waiting on 3 pieces of information. One of those pieces have come in, And so when the other two are in, the case file will be complete.
Cochran would not elaborate how their findings might clarify initial reports. Police had said White struggled with officers, started to run away, and reached into his pocket where officers thought he had a gun, and they fired. They also initially said he was shot in the chest, while his death certificate states White died from gunshot wounds to the back.
Once things are put together and looked at, there'll be more understanding as to what each one of them meant.
He also would not say when or even if police body cam video of the incident will be released. As 13 News reported Monday, the White family's attorney is working with the city to identify an administrator for his estate who will be allowed to watch the video under an exemption to the Kansas Open Records Act, since his children are ages 13 and younger.
Once that person has been identified and councils get together, the viewing of that video should take place rather rapidly.
Cochran says the person who is allowed to watch the video will have the freedom to share what they see. He also says he will stand behind whatever the investigation finds.
If it's justified, it's justified. If it was not, then the officers will be held accountable. And I think that process will take its place. What I ask of the community, a community that I care about, is that we pull together regardless of the outcome, and say, okay, moving forward, what can we do to make things better?
The Lawrence Police will give their findings to the Shawnee County District Attorney's Office, who will determine whether any charges will be filed. Cochran said once the criminal investigation is complete, he also will do an internal administrative review.
A tense exchange toward the end of last night's Topeka City Council meeting when a supporter of Dominique White spoke to council members. White is the man who was shot and killed by Topeka police officers in September. The case remains under review. 13 Sean Weed is here to explain what happened during that meeting. Sean?
Melissa, it was during the public comment portion of the meeting when someone started directly addressing a specific council person, which is against the rules. Supporters of Dominique White expressed frustration as they addressed the council during Tuesday's public comments.
We've sit here for the past 3.25 hours listening to you guys talk about the importance of potbelly pigs and that of their lives, but not that of the life of Dominique White.
White's family wants authorities to release police body cam footage on the September 28th shooting and the names of the officers involved, citing the employment contract for officers.
There's no provision in this contract which stops the police from giving the names to the family, and there's no provision in the contract which stops the police from giving the names to the city council.
The talk turned tense when Rodriguez addressed one specific council person.
It's disgusting to listen and watch several of you all, including you, Ms. Sylvia Ortiz, be so disengaged with the people that voted for you directly in that community that you don't do anything.
Let her go, Mayor. Let her go.
Sorry. Mayor Larry Wolgast explained rules established for public comment allow speaking to the council as a whole, not an individual member, though Ortiz listened and responded.
I don't have a problem with them calling me out. Because they don't know who I've talked to. They don't know who I've met with. They don't know what I've done. They don't know what information I've asked for.
Wolgast confirmed the council then went into executive session to discuss the White situation. He would not reveal specifics, but said he understands the interest.
When it's a high profile, people become impatient, want to have an answer right away, and many on the council do also. But this is the process we have to go through and follow.
The city said it would let the executor of White's estate view the body cam video, but the White family attorney said they have to wait for court approval of their selection. District Attorney Mike Kage said he would not release the video because it's part of the ongoing investigation. He received reports from Lawrence Police last week and continues reviewing them.
The story we'll keep following to see what that review will determine. Sean, thank you.
A public session in Topeka on the Dominique White shooting case tonight might be that first step toward the dialogue on the issue that the family has asked for. 13's Juan Cisneros is back from the Topeka Library, where the discussion really on the issue is just beginning. Juan?
Ralph, since the incident in late September, White's family and friends have been asking questions, and tonight they held a meeting called No Confidence, a community discussion, so the community could bring to light their questions and issues. Held at the library, the meeting was open to the public, and members of the city council were invited to attend and listen to Topeka citizens. But Topeka police officers were asked not to attend, organizers say, to create a comfortable and safe place for people to give their comments.
We always are there to listen. This is one that I think has drawn a lot of interest because it's timely and it's right now, and people are feeling the need to express their views, and I think it's our duty then to listen to them.
Our constituents said that they wanted to talk with us. They're looking for a forum in which, aside from the city council meeting, that they can go ahead and talk to us and express what they're feeling without the time constraint of the city council 4-minute time for us to go ahead and hear the thoughts that they have.
Brock Wynn, Dominique White's stepfather, believes that it is more than just about the incident with his stepson.
Yeah, sure, as the family, we want those things for Dominique. We want the transparency, we want the justice and everything. But it's also, as a community, we don't want other family members to have to go through these types of issues. Hopefully this doesn't happen again with someone else in our community.
Supporters say there has not been enough transparency and communication with the people. Many have petitioned the city to release the body cam footage, but officials say they can't because state law prohibits its release as it's part of an ongoing investigation. Governor Sam Brownback says this is something that can be brought up in the next legislative session.
Let's look at all the sides to this and hold legislative hearings. Let people come forward. Let police departments come forward and say, well, why should or should not this be released? And in what sort of timely fashion? I think those are all useful, good exercises to have taking place.
Now, city officials have said they will moderate another meeting in January, and specifics about that meeting will be released soon.
3 months after 2 Topeka police officers shot and killed a man, the Shawnee County District Attorney announced today they will not face criminal charges. This all started September 28th. That is the day officers were called here to reports of gunshots near Ripley Park. They encountered Dominique White. There was a struggle and White was killed. The same day, Topeka police announced they asked Lawrence police to conduct the investigation into the incident. As the days stretched into weeks, November 2nd, White's family began what would become a series of demonstrations outside the Law Enforcement Ctr, asking for answers and demanding the release of police body cam footage that authorities said the law prevented them from releasing while the investigation was ongoing. November 29th, nearly a month ago now, Lawrence police turned over their reports to DA Mike Kagay to consider criminal charges. And 2 weeks ago, White's father Kelly was allowed to view the body cam footage as the court-approved executor of his son's estate. He has not commented publicly on what he saw, but today that video was released publicly as Kagay explained why what it shows, in his view, does not support criminal charges. 13 Sean Wheat begins our team coverage tonight. He has covered this case since the beginning. We do caution you that you might find this video disturbing. Sean?
Melissa, Shawnee County District Attorney Mike Kagay laid out the evidence of his decision like he would during a court case, showing each point in the videos that led him to the conclusion no charges would be filed.
You ain't got no guns or anything like that on you, right?
Topeka police officers investigating a report of gunshots near Ripley Park approached Dominique White and began to question him. The officer who was watching White from behind noticed something in his pocket and approached him.
Don't do that. You have no reason to arrest me, bro. Relax. He has a gun in his pocket. Lay down. He has a gun in his pocket. That's not a gun. Stop. Stop. Please stop. Back 1039.
White broke away and ran towards the intersection of 3rd and Lawrence.
Both of his hands went to his left side, his right hand holding back his shirt as his left hand moved to the left pocket where the firearm was being held.
At that point, each officer fired 4 times. Of those 8 shots, 2 hit White in the back, with 1 round exiting his chest. The 3rd bullet grazed him. 1 officer held White at gunpoint while the other got a first aid kit from his patrol car. He returned, pulled a semi-automatic handgun from White's pocket along with 2 clips and a knife, then began giving White first aid.
It is my conclusion, based on a review of all relevant facts and law, that the actions of the officers involved in this incident do not rise to the level of criminal conduct. It is further my opinion that no reasonable judge or jury would find the actions of either officer involved in this matter to be unlawful.
The White family issued a statement tonight through their attorney saying they're incredibly disappointed with the DA's decision. White's mother, Mary Teresa Wynn, said Quote, "My son was shot in the back while attempting to run away from officers. They did not need to shoot and kill him." His stepmother, Molly White, added, quote, "Had Topeka Police exercised restraint, Dominique would be alive with us today."
Sean, thank you. And what about the call that brought police to Ripley Park in the first place? KG shed a bit more light on that today as well. 13's Juan Cisneros continues our team coverage from the newsroom with that update. Juan?
Melissa, when police were dispatched to the area near Ripley Park, they found White and began to ask him about the call that brought them there.
Okay, I can still barely hear you. What's going on there?
About 5 gunshots just went off.
The call came in at 9:20 a.m., September 28th. DA Mike KG says 2 unnamed officers were dispatched 4 minutes later.
Both officers are veterans of the police department. We're familiar with the area adjacent to and including Ripley Park, and we're aware of the fact that the area has an exceptionally high rate of crime, violent crime, and crimes related to firearms.
Okay, could you tell what direction they came from?
Like from the east to northeast, out by the park.
Okay, we'll get the officers over there and check, okay?
Thank you.
The initial call reported about 5 shots were fired at the scene. KG says that it's consistent with the number of empty rounds in the magazine of the gun found in White's possession.
It was ready for use, correct. And based on our investigation, we believe it's reasonable to think they had been recently used and was the proximate cause for those officers being dispatched.
KG also said gunshot residue was found on White's hand and 2 loaded magazines were in his pocket. KG added that the findings related to the initial shots fired call give further support to his ruling that the officers did not commit any criminal action.
Juan Cisneros in the newsroom with that part of the story tonight. Juan, thanks for the update. And today's decision against criminal charges does not necessarily end the inquiries into this incident. The Topeka Police Department has its own internal administrative review already underway. City spokesperson Molly Hadfield told 13 News the city will follow procedures by not releasing the officers' names until it is complete. She did say the officers will remain on leave until this administrative investigation also is complete. And there also is the potential for civil action. The New York City law firm Beldock, Levine and Hoffman is representing White's family. Among cases cited on their website is a nearly $6 million wrongful death settlement with New York City for the death of a man who died when officers there placed him in a chokehold. The White's attorney did not respond to our emails asking about the possibility of a similar lawsuit in Topeka.